Even though it feels like we as society is faced with so many challenges and uncertainty, have you ever thought about the fact that we are the most informed, the most connected, and the most educated humans to ever roam the earth? What an exciting time to be alive. Being a business consultant and consulting businesses on sustainability and resilience, it makes me think about what are the things that is required for business to be in existence, let's say in 2030. So unfortunately, we cannot predict the future. And I forgot my crystal ball at home. So I would like us to pause and zoom in on what it is we know today. We live in a world of disruptive technologies, where game changers have come and changed the way we commute, how we pay, how we shop for things. Some of the biggest and fastest growing organizations in today's world did not exist 10 years ago. But innovative, confident entrepreneurs came and they changed the way we do business. We are a connected, empowered, and democratic society. Social media has changed the way we go about our daily lives. And I'm pretty sure most of you has posted on some form of platform about being here today. Recently, in the quarterly reports of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg mentioned that 1.8 billion people have access to Facebook or is now using Facebook. That is the total equivalent of the world's population in 1918, to put it in perspective. And that's not even 100 years ago. Geographic borders and limitations has disappeared, and the world has become flat. We know and care about what is happening at any place in the world at any time. Having this platform and being able to share information freely changed the way we view and share news. So everybody that has a smartphone is now a journalist, and they will share anything that they believe is newsworthy. So this has given the society a voice, the public a voice that can be used for sourcing crowdfunding, endorsing organizations, boycotting organizations, discussing political and societal issues. The power is now with the public. And there's been a shift in power from the monopolizing, connected, and influential few to the informed public. Society has certain expectations that business needs to adhere to. And these expectations, if they're not met, they will use this voice, this power that I spoke about, to make sure that organizations act in line. It's not business as usual. And organizations that do not realize the interest and pay attention to the interests of society and think that this corporate social investment initiatives that they previously had is going to be enough, they will not exist in 2030. I believe there is something called a social license to operate. This is not a new term and has been used in the mining industry for some decades. It refers to the buy-in that is required in the local communities where these mines actually operate in. But today, mentioning that the world is flat, it's not limited to geographical borders. It's not limited to certain industries and organizations. All organizations now need to maintain the social license to operate. I identified 5 key behaviors or societal requirements for organizations to adhere to maintain the social license to operate. And the first one being honest. Organizations need to be honest about how they go about doing their business. With information being freely available, and sometimes even leaked, society is requiring that organizations is honest and ethical in the way they do business. I'm just thinking about a few examples that of what recently happened, and what comes to mind is a certain family, I'm not going to mention their name, that is not welcome to do business in South Africa anymore. And the reason is because of the perception of how they go about doing business. Another example would be a very big global organization that was not honest about a system that measures emissions. You can just imagine the reputational damage that this organization has faced. We as society suffer from severe income disparity, and there's more and more pressure on organizations to allow for equal opportunity for all. And if organizations do not provide that, we want them to be honest to enable us to do that. Responsible. So we trust organizations with all types of data, from your banking details, photos you share on social media, to sometimes dating profiles. The information that you're not aware that you're trusting organizations with is what you search for on Google, or even your location at any point in time. Organizations need to be responsible with our information. Cybercrime is a reality, and if your information lands in the wrong hands, it can be used for fraudulent activities or even expose you to identity theft. The environment is very high on our priority list, and organizations need to make sure that they measure and monitor the impact they have on the environment. They need to incorporate and take into account the impact they have. When doing business and creating working environments and spaces, they need to promote human rights. The public is not going to support organizations that support inhumane working environments, for example, making use of child laborers. Inclusive. So, a lot of organizations still see the social media phenomenon as one of their biggest risks. I see it as one of our biggest opportunities, because what is necessary is that we need to engage with our stakeholders, we need to engage with society, and make sure our product and service offerings appeal to them. Interestingly enough, if you think about it, these ecosystems that we created for ourselves, government and organizations consist of people that forms part of society. We need to encourage an all-inclusive stakeholder approach where there is gain for all, and ultimately we can propel society forward. Innovative. This almost goes without saying, because we are living in exciting times when it comes to technology change. But we need to be innovative in the way we market, the way we look at our products and service offering, with that engagement. I believe that organizations should not try to play catch-up, but rather lead the way. And that if they don't, they're going to be left behind and might not exist. Purpose. So if you look at some of the biggest and fastest growing organizations and you talk to their leaders, they all have one thing in common: a greater purpose. So they're trying to solve some societal problem. They try to better society. We're looking at connecting the world. We're looking at self-driving cars and alternative energy solutions and solving medical problems. Us as society is not going to support organizations that the main aim is to enrich a few. We want them to be part of the solution. Organizations need to realize that there is a massive shift from shareholder to stakeholder, and that includes the general public. Chasing profit is not going to ensure that your business is going to be in existence tomorrow. It's not going to ensure your sustainability. And now it brings me to, what is this social license to operate in? I mean, who's going to regulate it? There's no governing body. There's no regulator. And the requirements to obtain and maintain the social license to operate is going to change as the society's expectations is going to change. The biggest risk for organizations is the fact that there's going to be no warning. You're not going to get a blue letter and then a yellow letter and then a red letter and then you cut off. There's going to be no fine for non-complying to society's requirements. It's going to be disruptive, I believe. I want to leave you with a statement, something to think about, and maybe even the title of my next talk. An organization cannot succeed in a society that is failing.